From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
At 4:30, a bill aimed at improving police accountability is moving forward in the State House. How the changes could affect you if it becomes law.
Plus, a new way to help Hoosiers battle COVID-19. Details on Eli Lilly's new partnership to get antibodies to patients across our state.
And parts of Indiana played a key role in helping former slaves escape to freedom. This morning, we're taking you inside one historic site that was part of the Underground Railroad. Good morning. Thanks for joining us for Good Morning Indiana. I'm Megan Shin.
And I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen is standing by with a check of our forecast. Todd, I think today I'm just kind of over the cold. I've gotten to that point in the year where I was doing okay, staying positive, and now I'm like, I'm just ready for this to be over.
Boy, do I have a treat for you coming this weekend.
I know.
Oh, that Sunday forecast.
Not so much yet. The coldest air of the season's heading our way as we work our way into the second half of the weekend. I mean, Saturday is going to be chilly, but not as bad as Sunday. This morning, teens and 20s across the area. It's a cold start. When you factor in a little bit of a breeze, it feels like it's currently in the single digits in Peru. 13 is what it feels like in Indy as well as the Muncie area, but the skies are mainly clear this morning, and so we are going to see our temperatures probably go down another couple degrees, especially the areas that still have a decent amount of snow on the ground. Yesterday we had this persistent fetch of clouds off of Lake Michigan here on the western side of the state. Now that the winds are dying down, that's kind of fallen apart just a little bit, and today's actually going to be the best weather day of the week. One, because it's going to feature the most sunshine, and temperatures are going to be fairly seasonable. As you see, we climb all the way to about 31 degrees by the noon hour. We should top off right around 35. Tomorrow's the warmest day, but the trade-off is going to be some rain heading in our direction. More on that coming up in just a few minutes. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks. Let's take a look right now at your commute. This is I-70 and Arlington Avenue over on the east side, where traffic is moving along up to speed both eastbound and westbound. No issues to slow you down. We'll continue to keep a close eye on your commute throughout this Wednesday.
Lauren, thank you. Covering the State House this morning, a bipartisan bill aimed at increasing police accountability and enacting criminal justice reform is moving forward. The House Courts and Criminal Code Committee unanimously approved the bill. It was inspired by a proposal from the Indiana Black Legislative Caucus in response to last summer's protests over police brutality. The bill includes mandatory de-escalation training, penalties for officers who turn off body cameras, and bans on chokeholds in certain cases. The bill would also make sharing employment records between police departments easier to help identify bad actors and keep them from moving jobs. It now moves forward to the full House for a vote. Also in the State House, Republican lawmakers are looking to pass several bills that would increase penalties for rioting. One bill was introduced by State Senator Eric Cook. It would allow the state to withhold funding from cities that fail to protect public monuments and memorials from vandalism. Other measures would raise the felony penalties for rioting and give immunity to business owners who point firearms at rioters. The bill also includes penalties for blocking emergency vehicles and violating curfews. Lauren.
Well, one state lawmaker wants to make it harder for cities like Indianapolis to change their names. There's been no talk of renaming Indianapolis or Indiana, but Republican Senator Jack Sandlin of Indianapolis claims several people reached out to him following scrutiny of the names of sports teams that are considered offensive to Native Americans. Sandlin says under current law, it would take a petition of just 500 residents and a vote of the city council to pass an ordinance to rename a city. Under his proposal, if a city is named in a state statute or Indiana's constitution, a name change would not be allowed through that petition process.
Turning now to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. We are just 34 days into the new year, and more than 100,000 Americans have died from the virus. That's according to new data from Johns Hopkins University. Since the pandemic began, more than 447,700 Americans have died with the virus, meaning America has had more COVID-related deaths than any other country in the world, Lauren.
Back here at home, according to data from the State Health Department, more than 1,500 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19 so far this year. That includes an additional 65 deaths that were recorded between January 23rd and Monday. Now, since March, 9,677 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19. State health officials also report more than 1,500 new cases of the virus, but the 7-day positivity rate continues to decrease. That's a good news. As of this morning, it stands at just over 8%. Now, meanwhile, let's take a look at hospitalizations. They're up slightly today. This morning, 1,624 people are in the hospital. hospital for COVID-related reasons. It's a slight increase from Sunday when 1,594 people were hospitalized. Still, these numbers are much lower than what the state recorded for most of January. Currently, about 35% of Indiana's ICU beds remain available today.
Eli Lilly is helping Hoosiers fight COVID-19 by expanding access to its antibody treatment. The pharmaceutical company is partnering with health systems across the state to open up infusion centers. With this process, antibodies are given through an IV in about 1 hour. The goal is to help patients avoid hospitalization, reduce symptoms faster, and keep hospitals from being overwhelmed. So far, these infusion centers have helped deliver antibody therapy to more than 1,700 Hoosiers who are at high risk with mild to moderate COVID-19 symptoms, Lauren.
Well, some Hoosiers played a very important role in helping slaves escape to freedom on the Underground Railroad. In this Black History Month, you and your family can travel through time and get a glimpse of that history. The historic site is located out in Fountain City, Indiana. It's just up the road a little bit from Richmond. There you'll find the home of Levi and Catherine Coffin. They were Quakers who helped slaves make their way from the South through Indiana to areas like Canada. You can take a guided tour of the home and hear Levi Coffin's stories. You can also see areas of the home that used to shelter and hide those who were seeking freedom. We talked with Joanna Hahn, who says seeing these sites and hearing these stories is important to understanding history so that we don't repeat it today.
You know, thank God we have stories like this, you know, in our state where we can show how even from the earliest years of statehood, we were very active in what were considered very progressive movements for that time. And anybody asked today would say slavery is wrong. But we have to sort of get past the generalization sometimes of history and really understand sort of, you know, why was this illegal to participate, even though we think today that was the right thing to do.
So due to the pandemic, face masks are still required at that site. They're limiting the tour group, so you do need to call ahead. They're open to tours Wednesdays through Sundays and some holidays. Guided tours are for 10 people at a time at either 10:30 a.m. or 1:30 p.m. You can also visit Indiana State Museum right here in downtown Indianapolis to learn more about Black history in the Hoosier State. Right now, the museum has a Black History Gallery tour. The tour is happening February 5th, 6th, and 12th. We have more information on that on our WRTV News app.
U.S. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick honored overnight as House leaders push for new safety measures following the January 6th attack. The latest from Washington up next. Todd.
And he's looking at temperatures across the country. Not terrible for the first week of February. We're sitting in the 20s here in Indianapolis, maybe a little chilly there in Atlanta and Miami, but the core of the Arctic air is getting ready to move out of Canada into the United States. We'll let you know when it arrives and whether any snow accompanies it coming up in your WRTV Storm Team forecast.
Pulse. Breathe it in.
Welcome back. This morning, U.S. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick is lying in honor. He died last month trying to protect lawmakers when pro-Trump rioters breached the Capitol building.
Lauren, and as the investigation into the siege continues, House leaders are pushing for new safety measures. Britt Conway has the latest from Washington.
The remains of U.S. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick lying in honor at the Capitol, the fifth private citizen to be honored this way. President Joe Biden and his wife Jill paying their respects. The president shaking his head. And it seems federal investigators are doing the same as they struggle to build a murder case because of a lack of evidence linking a specific act to Sicknick's death as he defended the Capitol during last month's insurrection. Tension here is still high, remembering what happened that day.
I hide behind my door like this.
Security has tightened, and there are metal detectors now, but the new protocols frustrated some lawmakers, frustrating House Speaker Nancy Pelosi in turn.
When the enemy is within the House of Representatives.
Now there's a new rule that just passed on the House floor, fining any member who doesn't complete security screenings before entering the House chamber. $5,000 the first time, $10,000 if it happens again. With Pelosi saying in part, quote, "The people's house must and will be safe so that we can honor our responsibility to do the people's work." And Massachusetts Representative Jim McGovern spoke up on the issue too, saying some members on the other side have disrespected these Capitol police officers, all to avoid this basic safety measure. That is no way to treat our heroes. One of those heroes, Officer Brian Sicknick. who will receive a congressional tribute Wednesday morning. I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Also in Washington, a Republican steering committee has not yet decided whether to strip freshman Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of her committee assignments. The Republican from Georgia is under fire for past social media posts. They include questioning whether the Parkland school shooting was staged and doubting that a plane hit the Pentagon on 9/11. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has spoken out against Greene, calling her comments, quote, loony lies and conspiracy theories, end quote. If the GOP doesn't act, House Democrats have pledged to introduce a resolution to remove Greene from her assignments before the House Rules Committee today.
Well, in the UK, Britain's health secretary is calling for increased safety measures. This after a new COVID-19 variant was found to be possibly antibody resistant. This mutation, called E484K, is already a genetic signature of variants found in South Africa and Brazil. In addition to being more contagious, scientists say it may become resistant to immune protection or more likely to cause reinfection. This mutation has been detected in 11 samples in the UK variant. Experts warn it's too early to predict the impact of this finding, but it could explain why certain vaccines appear to be less effective in South Africa.
Also in the UK, the 100-year-old British fundraising hero, Captain Sir Tom Moore, has died. He's the World War II veteran who raised nearly £33 million by walking laps around his garden. That's equal to about $45 million in America. The money was donated to a charity supporting the UK National Health Service. That earned him knighthood from Queen Elizabeth in July. Recently, Moore was hospitalized on Sunday for breathing problems. On Twitter, his daughter posted that he had COVID and pneumonia. His family says they are grateful they were able to spend his last moments by his side.
What a guy. We've had so many great stories with him this past year.
I know.
Well, Japan remains determined to host a delayed 2020 Summer Olympic Games. This despite the extension of a state of emergency declaration in Tokyo and 9 other regions. The order was set to expire this Sunday, February 7th, as cases continue to decline there. But officials say the extreme caution is needed with the Olympic Games just months away. Right now, Japan is behind other countries in rolling out vaccination programs. However, the government has pledged to start inoculating medical workers by the end of February. Approval for the Pfizer vaccine could come as early as next week there. It is 4:45 here on our Wednesday. And Todd, what can we expect as we head out the door?
You know, I think today's actually going to be the best day of the week weather-wise, Lauren, here in central Indiana. Tomorrow's a little bit longer. The trade-off, though, will be some rain that'll be making its way into the area. This morning, it is quiet. Skies are mainly clear. Visibility is not an issue for us. The temperatures, though, are chilly this morning. 22 right now in Indy. With northwest wind at 7 miles per hour, that's putting the real field temperature, at least in Indy, all the way down to 13 degrees. So you definitely need, once again, to dress a little warmer probably than you would normally if there was no wind out. 25 in Bloomington is the current temperature, 16 in Peru, and 19 is the current temperature over in Richmond. And here are those real field temperatures for you. It's as cold as 6 degrees with the wind chill as you make your way through Miami County up in the Peru area. 13 is what it feels like in Muncie. As we go throughout the day today, we're going to have sunshine from start to finish. Yesterday we had the sunshine, and then as the winds kind of shifted a little bit, we brought in a little bit of cloud cover that was coming off of Lake Michigan. There are a few flurries out there. Today we should be able to keep the sunshine from start to finish throughout the day. Your noontime temperature 31 degrees, and then high temperatures today anywhere between about 35 and 40 degrees across most of the area. A little bit of lingering cloud cover still here on the western portion of the state. Otherwise, we're in pretty good shape. Look, still some snow showers in the New York metropolitan area back into central Pennsylvania. That storm system is going to depart, and then another one is going to be heading across the country, and it will impact us. However, the timing works out well for us in the sense that our temperatures are going to be above freezing when the storm arrives tomorrow. Your morning commute shouldn't be any of an issue tomorrow across the area. Mostly cloudy skies, temperatures right around freezing. The rain moves in during the afternoon hours. Your evening commute likely will be wet for you. And here's TrueCast, 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. You can see the rain approaching. The rain snow line across northern Indiana. So I think with the exception maybe a little brief burst of a wintry mix at the onset of the precipitation tomorrow, most of this will just be plain old rain, but it does turn into a pretty wet evening for us all across the area, and then it could end as a few lingering snow showers. But definitely think of this storm system, at least for central Indiana as a rain event and not a wintry event for us. And rainfall totals are pretty hefty. Everybody's going to be up around at least a half an inch from Indy to the west, a little less in the way of rainfall as you work your way off to the east. Friday, not a bad day. It's just trending colder. Saturday, 27 with partly cloudy skies. And then we get the push of the Arctic air coming in on Saturday. Sunday, we wake to temperatures around -2, a high of only 9 on Sunday. And as that Arctic air comes in, there could be some snow showers across the area. And then we'll slowly start to see those temperatures climb, Lauren, as we head into the middle of next week.
Todd, thanks. Let's take a look right now at your commute as you're heading out on the roads this morning. This is I-465 at Meridian Street. This is up on the north side of town. You can see traffic there is moving along just fine. No problems out there for your commute this Wednesday, but of course we'll monitor things and keep you updated.
Lauren, thank you. Uber is making it easier to get alcohol delivered to your home now. The ride-sharing and food delivery company is buying the alcohol delivery startup Drizzly for $1.1 billion in stock and cash. The ink isn't dry on the deal yet, but when it does, Drizzly will appear on Uber's food delivery app. Customers can still order through the Drizzly app as well. Like many companies, Uber's ride-sharing business has been greatly affected by the coronavirus pandemic.
Well, you can now work from home on the road. Airstream has added office space to its Airstream Flying Cloud 30 FB. The aluminum camper is a 30-foot long trailer with a corner office. The workspace comes with a desk, a chair, along with hookups for internet connection. The area is even equipped with a fold-out bed. The travel trailer costs just over $107,000. Airstream says it plans to add office space to other models in the future.
Looks nice.
Fancy.
And UPS is giving its express delivery package a makeover for Black History Month. The design Let's Rise Together is what it's called, was created by 25-year-old Sophia Yeshi. And it shows Black men, women, and children holding hands. The new box will be in circulation through February. This is the first time UPS has commissioned art for its express delivery boxes. It's part of a campaign to help support Black-owned small businesses. And this month, UPS is also working with the nonprofit group 30 Day Fund. Together, they will provide forgivable $5,000 loans to Black-owned small businesses in need. Time now is 4:50. We'll be right back with more news after this break. Welcome back. A local college student is getting in the Robin Hood spirit after making some money investing in an unlikely hot stock.
I sold it for $15,000, and then the amount I had purchased was $3,000. So I came out with about $12,000. And it was like over 2 days. It was crazy.
Aaron Schmidt from Carmel is a second-year medical student at Marian University. He made that money investing in GameStop as the frenzy over the stock started to peak. He says he will spend some of it on debt and bills that he has, but he's not keeping all of it for himself.
Someone else in the Wall Street Bets group on Reddit had donated to their local children's hospital. And when I saw that, I was like, that's amazing. There's no better way to spend money. Like, they can use it so much more than I can right now.
So to help local kids and continue to support GameStop, Aaron bought several Nintendo Switches and games. He donated them to patients at Peyton Manning Children's Hospital.
It felt awesome. I mean, just to pay it forward in some way, like, I don't know. I mean, there are so many things I could do with the money, and like, I don't know. I'm going to reinvest some of it to try and keep like a little bit of an income going so I can still eat and live. But other than that, yeah, I just bring some joy to their lives, especially in the middle of a pandemic.
It speaks volumes too of Aaron's current status as a medical student. I mean, just those new professionals giving back to the population that they want to work with. I think that just is amazing. It's a very selfless donation, and it was really great to hear, and I'm so glad it's worked out this way.
And Caitlin Knapp is with Peyton Manning's Children's Hospital. She says Aaron's donation will make a huge impact on the patients. Knapp explains that the games will help kids feel comfortable and socially connected because they can play with their friends online while they're in the hospital. Time now is 4:56. Let's get a check of the weather with Todd Clausen. And Todd, oh, that Sunday forecast.
I know.
Preparing myself.
Anytime you see that dash in front of a number, it's never a good thing, right? Today's not a bad day, mid-30s with sunshine. In fact, some of you in southern locations today could be climbing up into the low 40s. Tomorrow starts off dry. It's rain in the afternoon. It's a pretty steady rainfall for us, but it's all rain with a temperature of 42. And then the cold air comes in, 20s for Friday and Saturday, single digits on Sunday. And that doesn't even take into account the wind chill. Wind chill values Sunday and even on Monday are going to be well below zero. In fact, some areas could be about 25 to 30 degrees below zero when you factor in the wind, and then it's a slow warm up as we head into the middle of next week. The time now is 4:56. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple of minutes.